Recording in progress.
All right, so we'll call the meeting to order at 5 p.m. So this is, we're gonna open the public hearing for the lease agreement release for 682 Daniel Webster Highway and the Moore Street easement. This is the first of two public hearings per RSA 41:14-A to review and receive comments on the release of the lease agreement with 682 Daniel Webster Highway and the proposed easement on Moore Street with 5 Kankomagus Highway. The board has been sent, this was sent to the planning board and the Conservation Commission for review, and no recommendations were received. So the floor is open for any type of public comments at this time. Okay.
On Moore Street, given the proximity to the Igor stream from Jawasset and the wetlands there, I went, as was suggested, to the Department of Environmental Services. Talk about a room of mirrors, but the New Hampshire Shoreline Protection Act. Do we have a? Are we required to have a permit?
Yeah,
Yes.
we've already permitted.
We're already permanent.
Under the name of Woodstock?
No, wow, I don't know how it was.
While we're here, Bill, I don't mind filling in a little bit of what's been going
I'm
on.
not sure how the
So-
yellow name is on, but we do have.
Bottom line is you're right to have those concerns. You got forwarded that email, right, from Steve, the first one.
No, I brought him copies though. I
Oh,
brought him
okay.
copies of the
This will
letter.
solve, but bottom line is, you were right in worrying about it. He's concerned about it too. But we'll give you some reading.
You might have found this. Did you find this on the BBS? Because I think it's on there.
No, the
The
only.
bottom line is though, that I think if we dig it up, we'll have to do the remediation, but the state will pay us for it. So it won't cost the town anymore.
The soil.
Yes. The state will eventually pay us back. The cleanest way is for Skip to apply for remediation. And have, the state would pay him back. But it's just gonna be messy if we have to go the other way around.
I think it's with Horizon right now, working out the
Right.
logistics of
But
who and how it's
We've got
gonna
it all
go.
here for you
But-
to read this.
I
But you were
do,
right.
I'll bring it to you, but I just wanna make sure that this is, I mean, you can come up, but
You were right about that.
these were the letters that he received. We actually came across, I knew I had seen something because, we came across that when we first started the shoreline.
Is that
When a
is
permit
that-
hit them, DES let us know about it.
Does that have Steve's email too, or?
No.
Have
Steve
the
Laborious.
first To us?
No, I got the information that I could
Okay.
gather on. All Steve's email is that,
He's saying-
is stating that, yes, it's here, he verified those letters and working out a plan and the logistics of how we're gonna treat it and who's gonna treat it and all that stuff.
Well, the easiest solution is to have Skip do it, but theoretically, but he never answers, he doesn't answer very often.
Right.
It's hard to get a hold of him to get him to sign off on things. So, that is the problem.
And I think we've also involved legal to find out who and what we can do, how we, you know what I mean? I think it's with Steve and Laura are talking.
Yeah.
To find out the
So-
best
So by
approach.
spring, we should be okay, but I think the bottom line is, we'll have to do the remediation, but we won't have to pay for it at the end. The state would reimburse us, if worse comes to worse.
There's some type of grant out there that is.
Yeah,
What I did, there is a wetlands permit. Its number is 2023-01286.
01286,
Correct.
yeah, okay.
And that's Winslow Sherman.
Yep,
Mhm.
yep.
that's right, he had to apply for the shoreline protection.
property.
He had to
It's
sign,
his
he had
problem. We
to,
prepared it,
we did it, and we prepared it, but he hadn't applied for it,
He had to apply.
because he owned the
I
property.
think he did. I can't be 100%.
I think that's the way it was.
Yes, and the reasoning for it is here as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So you
it's,
already know.
it's. That's his part of it, I guess, and I do come to these meetings to try to. He owns the property, he's going to move the drive.
Right.
And then. You folks are going to go in and put in a. Water main.
Yep.
And my initial question was because he's doing one project and you're doing.
No,
It's all one project?
he's saying that Skip's gonna move the driveway and we're gonna do it. No, that was
Where-
part of our condition for the
Right.
easement.
Right.
That was the agreement we would make.
Per agreement.
Right, that we would move. What, the road or driveway?
Or the end of it, not
That's
the
why
whole thing, but
planning
the end of it.
Right.
And he would give us the easement. There was an agreement worked out between the lawyer
It's a
and
land trade,
the town,
basically. Yeah.
had to go through the planning board because there was a road involved.
So it's under, he's the
He's the owner.
applicant
Yes,
and you're the project.
I guess, however you wanna look at it, something like that,
Yeah.
but it's all one.
But you were right about the issues.
Well, you know, I've seen it, 5-gallon pail put 2 businesses out of business down in Milford.
But the good news is the state will reimburse us for whatever happens. So
And I believe Steve's gonna be overseeing all of that.
Steve will, yeah, our engineer.
Or
will be-
there's somebody in
Horizons engineer.
Horizon.
Right,
Yeah.
Horizons will
Oh,
go watching.
That's Steve or one of his people.
Yeah, I think it's somebody else, but
This whole thing has been
crazy.
crazy. It's been 2 years of craziness, 3 years of craziness. And poor Mike Highland is down there with
Yeah,
crappy water.
and every time we turn around, it's another.
Good. Any other questions or concerns? Being none, we can now close the public hearing.
Is that for both pieces?
That,
It's all on, right?
it's all, the public hearings for our,
Yeah.
both of them.
We need to have one more public hearing after this one for the same thing. Is that?
Yep, you can have two, but this is for both the Lease and Morris Street, I think is what he's asking.
Yes,
It's
Yeah.
both.
the lease agreement and more streets.
The property that the lease agreement, is that property the unknown owner?
We now know the owner. So we will be fixing yes. The answer, that little sliver piece there,
0.0028.
yes. It actually belongs to Ishi property,
To what?
Ishi property,
What's that?
Hood's Trailer Park across the street or
Murray's.
Murby's. That little, it's all part of, so yeah, Roy. Figured that out or confirmed.
Okay, I'll go back,
We actually found another one too, but
because all that I looked through and I just brought that up. And if you go back to an 1800, I'll have to find the map. But right in that area, along with the ice caves down there,
mhm.
it was a mineral spring.
Hmm,
So I will look and see. Because I remember in some of my digging through that little sliver had to do with water. I know on a map that there,
Is that the
in that area is a mineral spring, so I will
no kidding.
dig further on that.
You don't find those in. That's interesting. But yes, that piece came to light.
That's it.
Yep, we actually identified another piece down. At the lower. Right after the town garage in Berry Court. There was a triangular piece there that actually belongs to one of those lots. So slowly getting there.
Great,
Thank you.
okay. no other public comments, then we will close the public hearing on the lease agreement release and the 682 Daniel Webster Highway and North Street East. So at 5:10 PM, we'll call the select board meeting to order.
I just realized I have the minutes I was placing.
That's okay. We can do that first.
But to you, I
Do
just-
you want to,
Make a motion, we approve the document in October 17th.
I will second, all those in favor? Aye. Then we have a, email here from Igor Bily.
Yeah.
Regarding an abatement for water or reduction, water-based rate reduction, on his property for a water leak that he fixed back, at the end of 2022.
It was a major leak.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem unreasonable to give them. You know what I mean?
I would
Well-
agree to, moving him from the commercial 4.5 to the
Right.
commercial 1.5
It doesn't seem.
based on his, based on the history.
The actual usage, so I think.
Yeah.
And I gave you the history in there, so.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then that's going forward
Yeah,
on the
Yeah.
next bill.
so I make,
To are we gonna give them an abatement on the last bill? That's the question,
so he was a
As well.
commercial 4.5.
which is again not unreasonable because he wasn't using that much water all summer.
So what, his most recent bill, he's looking for an abatement on his most recent bill.
Most recent bill.
Yes, and so the rates are set on a year of consumption, and then
Right.
we look at the year and then they configure for the next year, so.
That's the base rate for the year, so he's asking us to rebate the one bill
And I think
to
so, if
the
you look at
lower base rate.
the last year, he was still up in that. So this year coming forward, he would get the new rate
You're right, yeah.
of 1.5.
Here's quite a week.
Oh, he did, he put a lot of work into it.
So this past year, he would have been 50, 80, 88, 100, 220, 225. Which would have been like a commercial,
Which we would use to set the
2.5.
rates for 2024.
right? Well, I'm just wondering if maybe. One day, so you assess the base, we assess the base rate over the 4 quarters.
He's
Yeah,
asking us,
you have to
to-
have, because of the way the
And
fee structure was set up.
so he's asking us to get an abatement on that last quarter,
Right,
base rate,
base rate,
base
Base
rate
rate.
only.
base rate only.
go from,
I don't think
900
it's
divided.
unreasonable because he was
I don't
only.
need, I don't, I would do an
So
abatement
that-
from. He was at 4.5, so he was at 2,700 was his base rate.
mhm,
And based on the usage, he's at 1,200, he's at commercial 2.5, so 1,400. Right, because we just added up the usage for the last year, last 4 quarters, it was 12 and a quarter, 225. So that's 1,400. So I think we could have. So the difference of that would have been 3,300 divided by 4.
1,300.
Excuse me, yeah, 1,300. I apologize. Divided by 4, you're looking at $300 and something.
For this
Debate.
last bill,
Yeah, to abate it
Yeah,
on the last
to
bill.
you wanna
abate.
bid on the
Yeah.
last, so
Yeah.
how much do you wanna abate?
325.
325. From quarter 3,
Yeah, he had to spend a fortune fixing it too, so.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then going
or what we
forward,
could do is just lower his base rate, instead of going through the abatement process, what you could do is lower his base rate. For the 4th quarter. You know what I mean, like just lower it that one next step. It's up to you.
We should do both, we should give the
Well,
abatement
he
for the
would go
last one,
down to,
and then go to the lower rate for
he would
this
go
one.
to 900,
which is in quarter 4,
we could put him at
which is started.
600 for that base rate. It's either way, it comes out the same, it's just left to, whatever you wanna do, you know what I'm saying, we could.
Yeah.
And then
As
start,
long as he understands that the next time,
right, so we'll just, it's cleaner to do the abatement, I think.
yeah,
So abate 325 from
Yes.
quarter three.
Yeah.
On both water and sewer.
Yeah.
And. Then move,
sewer, hold on, let me double check. Sewer might be a little more. The sewer.
oh, yes, oh, Sue's gonna, yes.
Yeah,
Sue's gonna be a
sewer's
problem.
4,500 to 2,500. So you're looking at 2,000 divided by 4 is $500. So
But
you're gonna abate a total of 825. So abate that for this
Quarter.
past quarter, right, quarter 3, and then for Q4,
starting at.
we're gonna put him at, commercial 1.5, so he'll be at the 900 base rate. For
Right.
water,
And,
and he'll be at 1,500 for sewer.
okay,
Mining any increases to base rates.
oh, yeah,
If those occur, then that will be.
okay, so,
So maybe instead of specifying the actual dollar amount,
This would-
specify commercial 1.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, for water and sewer.
Yeah.
Okay, do we need a motion for all that?
yeah,
Okay, so I make a motion that we reduce the base rate for Montauk cabins from commercial 4.5 to commercial 1.5 for water and sewer. And that we abate a total amount of $825 for quarter 3 water and sewer usage. Sound good?
Yep.
Do I have a second?
Second,
All those in favor? Aye. Okay. The bids for the 1948 Mack fire truck.
water,
Unfortunately. Nope, that's down below.
oh, okay. I'm on control.
I just, we need to.
Oh, jeez.
So. We did not receive any bids for, the 1948 fire truck. We spent quite a bit in advertising, unfortunately, to hopefully keep it in town, but I think. I don't know, maybe going with
I think
JSJ
to go
next
with
time,
option here is that.
Yep.
Got us the favorable terms on the buildings that. we
right,
sold,
right,
so.
they just got $3,500 for our old cruiser.
okay.
Yeah, I
The
think it's a good way to
Ford.
go. So let's have, I'll make a motion that we turn the fire truck over to ASJ auctions.
Okay. I second. All those in favor? Aye. It is. And then, but we'll make sure to get that out to folks that are interested.
Copy of it, and we'll share it.
Yeah,
out.
share
I
the
think the
public.
impression was it was worth nothing, but it's worth a lot, quite a bit of money,
Yeah, when you look it up and research it.
so.
I think it's a crowd too.
Yeah.
Your location, your crowd, your.
Next up, we also have the sale of the 2007 International Plow truck and a log splitter. All right.
Do I hear you bid?
Yeah, right.
Maybe you should look into.
I got mine all split, thank you.
I would say based on what we just went through with the Mack truck, that the fire truck, that we might as well send this one to JSJ as well.
When we did the last big truck, I think we got 1, maybe 2 bids,
Yeah,
and those guys, I already talked to them once, they will contact people who have interest in that type of thing. They're again with the fire truck. I
Same
believe.
with the fire truck.
They've got certain people that collect or do stuff, they reach out to a little more. Which is part of their advertising, and none of that comes back on us, whoever buys the truck pays the auction.
and the advertising fees and all
Well,
of
that's
that.
it, and the
Yeah.
advertising
Right.
fees are.
Advertising fees are
great
great.
now.
They're much larger.
That's how we do favors in business.
I mean, I feel bad, but, ooh,
I just can't let that go until the new one's here.
Sure.
Right.
That makes sense. Well, makes a lot of sense.
Hoping next week.
it's with everything,
Within the month.
Yeah.
Okay,
we just keep hoping for everything.
So I make a motion to, move or give 2007 International Plow Truck and Log Splitter to JSJ Auctions for sale. Do you have a second?
Yes.
All those in favor? Aye.
That's what
That's what we discussed. Scott second.
Okay.
all in favor, yes.
Okay. All right. Next up, we got some budgets.
All right,
You ready?
we get on, you tell me how I can get.
If you hit the agenda button, I think is where it makes it full screen.
There we go.
All right. So first up, we have the executive budgets.
Mhm.
Isn't much besides payroll.
I've added some additional hours for staff.
Yep,
We have a huge project coming our way we've been waiting on.
yeah,
The electronic filings and stuff that will require more. And then deciding on what you guys want to do.
right.
Everything else is the same.
My only thought between the 3% and 4% is collectively across the board, when you take all departments and you take all benefits and retirement and all that, it really adds up. So, when we're looking at, last year, I think we tried to be a little bit more aggressive than we normally are.
Oh, yeah.
With the
right,
8%.
8%.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think I personally am comfortable with a 3% this
Oh, I
year
do,
and then.
yeah.
See where we land, yeah, see where we land. We have, I think, just browsing through some of these, we have some rather large expenses coming through.
Yeah.
This year to absorb into the budget, so might be a little. Good to be somewhat conservative in areas that we can.
Well,
While still meeting
contracts,
COLA.
your contracts, your operating expenses are all taking a hit this year of the 8 and 10% that you're seeing across everything.
Yeah.
So you're gonna see that. On almost every budget, so factoring that in as well.
So I guess the first thing would be, I make a motion to do 3%. Pay increases across all departments.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Now we can go.
Now we can move forward with.
Okay, so, that being said, that mine is up additional hours, for when we want to utilize Kathy or when Kathy's available,
Yep.
and the 3% raise.
Great.
That's my only changes. Which we had talked about, increasing hours.
Yes, we had already.
Yeah.
Yep. No, and I agree with that. Yeah.
Hopefully
So do you want us to do after each one, so it's easy since we're on it?
if you're comfortable, whatever
Yeah.
you want to do.
Yep, so I make a motion to approve the executive budget. As proposed, for $190,275. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Town clerk budget is just, it's up because, you have the 3% in there and we have 4 elections. This is a big election year and we are going, our new tabulator, so there's $7,500 factored in there for the tabulator that we voted on, I believe, the last meeting. And I will tell you not to be surprised if we overspend on payroll because of how the presidential primary is gonna fall out. Because one didn't register and is running as a write-in, which means all of us have town clerks have to bring in tables of counters.
Right.
So
Okay.
just to be a warning, I don't know what to expect. I did the best I could there.
Yeah, well, you used it based off of past
did,
election.
yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good.
We'll just figure, yeah.
Okay. Any
Have a
questions
great
on that,
one.
Scott? Okay. So I make a motion to accept the town clerk budget in the total amount of $77,994.
Second that.
All those in favor? Aye. Next up. We have the tax collector budget.
Okay, so that one's actually down. We had to keep it the same, because it moves to us, because of bringing it back in-house in the way that, the appointment and changing it from elected to appointed. It goes to a stipend and it's no longer based on fees in that payroll. So the stipend was worked out with Cheryl. So all that was added to that was the 3%. And it's actually lower. It's gone from 27,475 to 19,10.
That's a plus. I mean, there's a minus. Yeah, that's bad. Oh, yeah.
Any questions? Or-
Nope. So I make a motion to accept the tax collector budget in the amount of $19,010. So I have a second.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
All right, here we go. So, general government. The only, yeah, this is what you guys gotta have
This is the one that raised come up.
you guys have some decisions to make here on this one. The only payroll on here is the 3% for the trustees of the trust fund. The maintenance contracts are up. And the tax map maintenance contract is up and the other audit is up because they're all going up. They're fluctuating anywhere between 6 and 10%. We have had a couple people, we've had 2 people question, the actuary. I don't know if that's something you guys want to do. I threw $10,000 in there. It's an estimate. It would have to go out to an RFP. And like I said, it was the last board.
I thought we decided not to do an actuary.
I think you guys discussed that, but I wanted to be sure. So we could remove that if that was.
Yeah, if you're comfortable with
I
that,
am,
okay.
yes.
Okay, I just wanted to give you the. wanted to
I'll
make
take a
sure.
little nasty note every year.
I can tell you the prior board met with the auditors, to discuss that adverse opinion. And weighed out the options of the cost and how small we were in our personnel policy and the liability risk, and they chose not to do it based off of that, whatever. Doesn't mean right or wrong, I just wanted to throw it back out there because it had been talked about. And the next is, you'll see I added the capital outlay item for the software conversion, to go cloud-based and also bring all of our. We're still in kind of like a DOS pump program, as you can see with our printouts. It still works, but, to bring it cloud-based and to bring in the first half of it, have all of our programs talking, it would also modernize it to give departments access to reporting. You guys would be able to see things,
Log in,
yeah. It is $58,550 to get our first part done. So,
I think,
it's entire,
I think we need to do it just to keep up. I mean, the stuff we're using is
I
decrepit.
it is dated. I did. I have mixed feelings here. I
It's
did
gonna be
reach
a
out.
lot of work to change.
Well, I did, and I reached out because I have my own concerns of a presidential primary year. We have still 2 new people training. We have the file thing coming. However, when I reached out, well, you read the email, when I was trying to, I'm worried that we'll lose the conversion training portion of it and we won't get it as cheap. What that difference is, I don't know. He didn't really say, so. Just wanted to present it to you and, I'm really good with whatever,
I make a motion, we bite the bullet and do it. And accept the budget as presented.
You have alternatives. You could pay the difference. You could set up a capital reserve, do a little this year, do a little this year, and then take the chance of what the increase would be, just split it up. But when we do it, we do need to do that first section together. it has to be a package when it happens.
Do we know, or have you spoken with anybody else that's made this conversion?
I know that Lincoln is already using, I know they're going down a different path, but that's for tax collector, town clerk, I don't know. Lincoln is using the utility and county program that these people are selling right now. I believe. But yes, so the people creating these programs are the people that we worked with to create the tax program that we, in our summit assessing program, and we're one of the few. Then they sold it off to BMSI, and this is kind of I think it'll be an easy, smooth ride for Cheryl, because it's very similar to what she's using. And the tax, but I work with them now. I already work with the majority of the people that are creating this.
Do you think if we reach back out to them and ask them for a few clients that are currently using it, that we could just ask?
Sure.
Or have a general
You could,
conversation about the,
These guys are very new. I've been following them. I would want to hold. If I'm gonna change software, this is the direction I would want to go.
yeah, and I get that, I just wanna make sure like the kinks out, and we're not like that test, because we are small, you know what I mean?
I've been there.
We are small, we don't need to be that test bunny.
We're not, no, this is out there. These
Well, I
are-
know, and that's what I mean, if it's out there, I'd like to have some conversation, like just to be able to
I
ask
can-
a couple of municipal people that are using it, like. Are you finding it is as useful as the value?
Well, I can tell you,
Placed
anything
on.
is more useful than what we're using right
No,
now.
I get that. I get that.
We're doing a lot of manual entry,
Yeah.
so anything would be
I-
an improvement for us.
I always have a hard time with like a big sticker price
But,
thing, it's like
Well, all I'm
seeing
gonna
a
say
Cadillac
there,
and saying, sure, and not driving it and finding out it goes bump, 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 you know what I mean?
we only ask for something.
I know you do, I know.
Software in 18 years,
And
we buy a user for this amount every year.
I get that, and I get that,
But I can get you,
and I'm not saying no by any means, I'm just saying.
I mean, do you wanna talk to, because I go to the conferences, I talk to
Right.
these people, I already know, so if you wanna talk to them, I don't know. I can have them do a presentation for you.
Yeah, I would love that, I'm a nerd.
I don't know when you're gonna fit that in, when you're done to,
Yeah, have them email
You guys
them,
are
and have
the
them
ones
email
that,
me, and I would set
work
up something.
with the program, so I don't know how beneficial it will be. It's more
Yeah.
beneficial to the people working with the programs and
Yeah.
using the programs.
No, I would like to, I guess, yeah,
So
take a look at it.
so you wanna,
So can we table this one until our next meeting? We already know Scott's comfortable with it,
Whatever, you know.
and so we could do it in the meeting
I
on
would
the
say how about,
28th.
because I've sat through it, they've already been here once. I'm
Okay.
gonna. I
Just
can
have them reach out, yeah, have them email me direct. And I'll set something up, and I'll make sure to do something with them before our next meeting, so that I can, yeah,
Sure,
is
that
that,
makes sense.
okay. Thank you, sorry. So we'll table this budget till then. Cause unless you wanna approve the grand total, the top part of it, and then add the capital outlay in later.
It doesn't matter to me.
Cause then you could bring this budget to them without the capital outlay and then add it, cause they don't vote, the budget committee usually doesn't vote on all the individual budgets until the end of.
It doesn't hurt tabling. I mean,
Okay.
it's
And
there.
we'll table it. We'll table this one until the next meeting. Thank you. Sorry. The next up, we have legal. Which is the same as every year. So I'll make a motion to accept the legal.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Aye. Next up, we have planning board. And that increase would go with the, wage increase and some increased hours.
They've been using, cabin quite a bit, so.
Yeah.
That's,
I understand. Operating expenses. They proposed 1,000 and you,
I made a note at the bottom.
oh,
It's
yeah,
just
less
my-
than 1,000.
It's just my 2 cents. It
Okay,
doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
Their proposed is the second line.
Okay. All right. Not so many issues.
No.
All right, so I make a motion to accept the planning board budget in the amount of 17,800.
The
No.
planning board is the second line. I'm submitting line 3 with a note at the bottom. I adjusted theirs.
Right, based off of what you've seen for the expenses, right?
No,
Oh, none of the budget.
so
Oh,
I am adjusting their payroll. The payroll I'm adjusting based off from what we just did.
right,
But then they've lowered everything. I'm concerned with the fact that they've lowered all of their operating, legal and consulting with all the developments we have going on right
right. No, so my proposal was for the one that you had, the third column.
now. Okay, I just wanted to be sure.
But I think the idea too is that we can, have the developer pay for our,
Okay, but you still gotta have an in and out.
Yeah. and I
that's
think
true.
what isn't spent goes back to the general fund. So, I
Right, but
mean,
it's very minimal. And
it is.
when you started, and I appreciate what they did, but I just know we have a lot, and I know we're getting calls on Lost River Road for that development. We have that one down. So, and I was just being cautious, honestly, I was just. So
No.
it's really, I just wanted to be sure that you knew that I changed what they presented to you.
And I think,
And it's for the better.
yeah,
It's not eliminating anything, so. I would be in favor
Line 3,
of column 3, yep. So the planning board budget in the amount of 17,800,
it's not a significant amount.
No, you were-
3,000 about it's 3,800. All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor? Aye. All right. Next up, town buildings. You put the electric down,
Yeah,
is that because in general?
electricity and propane and oil are gonna be down. Oh, and that's a lot down, though, from going, the lower firehouse is going from 7,300 to 38.
I looked up, I did individual count.
You did,
and looked
okay.
up,
Yeah,
And then based it off from this year and put the cent that,
okay.
I think we went really high last year because we thought that.
We're-
25.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I'm fine with that. Looks good. It's fine. It's saving a little bit of money there. From about 20,000.
We don't have, never mind.
If we still got the capital reserve in there.
Yeah, and you had a submission for that.
What is the balance in that capital reserve now?
You'll have, if you approve the attached, you have 228.
Okay,
There's a note here, flooring and siding at Main Street Firehouse, 228,000.
no, it's, they're
No.
right here.
No,
It's
it's
like
bid, and that's the balance. It's like
37,000 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
John submitted, that.
So just wants to know that, but basically our capital reserve will stay the same because we'll be spending about what we're appropriating
Right,
about, you know, so. But we still have almost a couple 100,000 there.
Is the siding on that building? This one over here?
the Main Street.
Main Street one, the
Yeah.
big one. The brick thing has been bad for a long time, I think.
Okay. So it's just that, it's not the whole, it's not siding the whole building, it's just that small area.
It's just, Remove and dispose of existing brick veneer siding, install new vinyl clapboard siding and trim.
The brick is just on the front,
What's that?
the brickwork is just the front.
Just the
piece.
front, but it sounds like it's a vinyl on the whole thing.
Rest of the building is vinyl siding.
Right. Just 21,000 just for, I guess,
So much for vinyl being vinyl.
yeah, so 21,000 for just those two
Oh, the
fronts.
front is
I guess we
vinyl.
may have to. Ask a little bit more, we can approve this budget without approving that,
Mhm.
Right,
right, cause that'll come forward.
we can dig it a little more.
Yeah, we can ask a little bit more about it. Cause that's all in the capital, we'll be taking that from capital reserve.
Right, but yeah, you can, or you can line appropriate, whatever you choose to do, I just.
We didn't line appropriate though.
No, I think we should,
No,
that's
I
what
would
the
say
cap, that's. what
that's capital reserve for, yeah, I would just say if we move forward with it, we take it out of capital reserve. Okay, so
so I just.
based on, yep, so I make a motion. To accept the town buildings proposed budget in the amount of $150,302.15.
Second that.
All those in favor? Aye.
We're not approving,
But he hasn't asked us, I don't think.
well, yeah, this is him asking, but we can discuss.
I
it
just-
with
I
him.
think we'll have more discussion on that,
Yeah, we'll discuss.
and that'll come out of capital reserve.
Definitely not a no.
Let's, yeah, I just wanna understand it better. All right, so next up we have cemetery. Working wages are going down on cemetery.
Because we don't use our guys there anymore, we just have Steve,
Okay,
pretty much.
okay.
We only go in very little now.
That's pretty easy, I can make a motion to accept that, but
I'll second. All those in favor? Aye. That, we're doing column 2, so the 34,000.
Yep.
Yep. Insurance is what it is.
yeah, I make a motion to accept the insurance budget.
We will second that. All those in favor? Aye.
Even if that's it for the reason, then.
Yeah, mine, I wouldn't have minded the $5,000.
Okay, chamber,
Champions, yep,
I make a motion to accept the budget of chamber dues.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to accept the contingency budget, in the amount of 13,500.
Second,
All those in favor? Aye. Building inspection.
motion to accept the building inspection budget.
In the amount of 10,200.
Yep.
A second, all those in favor? Aye. So we haven't added the 3% to,
You're fine with where it was at with it.
oh. That's what you mean by that,
Mhm.
okay.
No, next is high use streets.
So that stone wall is the one. Right there at the lights,
Opposite Soldier Park.
right? On the
Yep.
right hand side.
Mhm.
And that's an estimate to. Is it in here? And I just didn't look down further.
You take that one down and rebuild his wall,
Rebuild it with another stone wall or,
another stone wall.
and that's because. It's falling in or it's,
Cracking. Sometimes rocks are falling into the sidewalk. I don't plow that. Because I try not to put any pressure against it, so we leave that alone. But it's still, it cracks and it's breaking, and eventually it's gonna be like the other wall, it's gonna start tipping out.
Have they, whoever we're working with or talking with, have they said if like some sort of like netting could go over to preserve it a little bit longer and we could maybe budget out over the next 2-3 years
I
to
bet it
fix
could
it?
last
or-
a couple, I think it could last a couple of years, don't you, Mike?
It's not tipping out yet.
Yeah.
It's staying pretty close. I mean, it's separating, so it is moving a little bit. But it doesn't appear to be falling over yet.
I think,
That's why I'm just trying to get ahead of it before it ends up like the other wall.
Right,
I think we should put a little money away.
yeah,
Let's do-
which
yeah.
capital reserve could we put money into for that? Could we put it into like the highway maintenance, cause it's part of,
I don't see why not.
so
Yeah.
we could say, okay, we have a good idea that it's gonna
We
cost
need to
us.
be able to do use highway.
It's really highway maintenance.
I mean, I think you could do. I think you know, as long as you have a vote that was your intent, you can put that money in,
Yeah,
you're putting that towards it.
let's do that.
Yeah,
You also have your Main Street revitalization fund.
what's that come under? What's that come under?
It's just, in your capital reserves,
Yeah,
And that section of sidewalk, we may want to do. I've been holding off on that because the state, apparently at one time, they talked about redoing our intersection.
yeah,
And I haven't heard any more word yet when.
Right now, he's saying it's gonna be. a
I'd
lot.
like to see them upgrade the intersection, which they'll be doing some of the curbing,
yep,
and then we could raise that sidewalk along with the wall repair,
okay,
just something like you said, a forward, thinking forward.
So why don't we put 10 grand away towards it,
10 or 15,
15, yeah, okay. 15.
15 would be a good.
Yeah.
Pump of it. 25%.
so you wanna increase your
Highway
highway maintenance.
maintenance capital reserve by 15,000, so to 65,000. And pull that stone wall out, and maybe in the meantime, maybe we could talk to them to see if there's some type of fencing or super glue, I don't know.
Yeah, they may know to support the bank before they set the rocks in place.
So they could repoint it a little bit just to get us through.
Yeah, for another couple of years. Okay. Crack sealing, is that on our roads?
Yep.
Makes sense. So where are we at? Highway block grant, money. So, 5.7. 1. We're gonna change that bottom number to 479, 451, 08.
We can wrap, what?
It's
So you can't, it's a
get around
block
that, right? All right. So I make a motion to accept the highways, streets budget in the amount of $479,451.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next. Streetlights.
It's what it is. We need something.
Second. All those in favor? Sure.
I think, I'd like to, I think we might have had some misunderstandings in this, I don't know, true. Because my thought was we're gonna raise sewer income by 15% and water income by
On the
5%.
budget,
Yeah, but do we need to discuss that to accept the budget?
That's what I mean. Yeah. No, I'm just,
well, the budget's the budget, like. Oh, you mean
Oh,
your
so the revenues, you're talking, so these are just expenses.
Oh, those
So
are just
then-
expensive,
yeah.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that, then. 'Cause I've been looking at this other thing, and I'm like, I don't think that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
But, all right, so I'm fine
So-
with that, yeah.
the expenses,
Yeah.
there's nothing.
All right, that sounds, because I was thinking revenue.
Electricity, we're comfortable with that number,
Mhm.
based off of this
what's
year.
There,
Okay.
what I've seen.
And the debt's gone as of pretty much this year, correct? We figured out, yeah. And we increase the capital reserve,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
Because that's what
Really, your
we're,
budget's only up because you increased the capital reserve.
and we're going to, and that's probably still
It's
not.
not even, the budget would be down, and it's still not, it's not even up to 25,000.
Mhm.
I make a motion to accept the sewer budget.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Yeah, I got myself.
So there's water. Again, just expenses.
As we go on, we're going to have to increase the reserve in the sewer budget more. Even next year.
Okay.
See how it goes, but. I make a motion to accept the water budget as presented.
Second. All those in favor?
Actually, right, is where it's gone down.
Yep.
Another motion to accept the parking there.
A second. All those in favor?
Why would well, not to increase it all, so. No. I make a motion to accept the library budget as presented.
Second. All those in favor? Oh, she did submit a 5-year projection. Good.
I know they're doing some programs, yeah, which is nice.
Yeah. What, you have your book there, what's in the capital reserve, like, are we? Is she putting it up in there now that she's kind of noted, in 2016, she's gonna have to get a couple of computer and printer.
She has 17,000.
Okay, yeah, she's got enough.
Got enough to cover, especially today, that's one thing that's getting cheaper. So,
Alright. Patriotic purposes.
fireworks are going up, that's what.
Yeah.
5,000. I make a motion to accept the patriotic purposes budget.
Second, all those in favor? Conservation Commission. Nice job. So here's one, like, should we be considering a capital reserve for them? Knowing that there may be properties like Merriam Woods that would need,
It's the only one we have
some sort, okay,
that they have
yeah,
to manage.
to manage. So is it just easier, because well, if they're gonna be putting up some kiosks and, or potentially putting up kiosks and stuff, those will need some kind of replacement plan.
We could maybe start doing a small capital reserve.
Yeah,
too.
even if $1,000 or something like that,
At least, I think so too.
do you think that?
Yeah, because they're already hitting us up for 10,000 this year. So,
Well, I think that you gotta look at that, though, a good chunk of that is, they're having a forestry plan done.
Right,
I
Right,
mean,
oh,
that's
yeah.
up to be there next, you know, what I mean, that's only
Right.
so,
But they're always gonna have some expense, not a lot, I would think, but.
So what do you
I
want,
mean, the life of a kiosk,
how much do you?
we
want
might be
to
able to
put
absorb that.
3,000. Yeah, we can have budget, yeah, we can just.
in? It's really,
Yeah.
anything you look at,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't matter. You could go either
I
way with it, but,
it's nice of them to
Anyway,
be so active, you know.
Yep.
Really,
so which way do you wanna go?
we'll just leave it, well, as they need expenses, we'll leave it in their budget,
I mean,
instead of
pretty
doing
good.
capital reserve.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, no,
Too.
that's what I mean, they have a great laid out. I suppose, replacement cost for the kiosks, even if it's 5 years from now, 4,000 is a pretty,
Right.
an easier number to absorb for sure. All right, so make a motion to accept the Conservation Commission, budget of 12,500.
so,
All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Economic development,
step to economic development.
a second. All those in favor? And that. Volunteers, you have the forest.
No, so Judy and I went over that, and I just. Bottom line is like, we just got a water study done that I've seen, it's gonna be public next week, and, so the water's in pretty good shape. But we feel as though we need to go up about 5% to really keep things up, so the base rate will go up 5%, and the gallonage rate would be, go up 5%. Which would be 25 cents more per thousand, so it would be 525.
Number 5.
So you know what I'm saying, that gives us a 5% overall,
Okay,
right?
so we're going, you want the base rates to go up 5%,
Yeah. And the gallonage rate to go up 5%, which is a quarter. And the water's in pretty good shape, and you know, I think except, when I talked to Jesse today. We're going down and, well, anyway, when we have that report, I'll talk about it, but it's mostly good news.
I know some of the loss was between flushing hydrants and flushing sewer lines.
Yeah.
That's a lot, that was quite a bit of unaccountable water. That
Oh,
was,
it's way improved, and the whole water system without new pumping, everything's working great. And the bottom line with the study that's done, one of the bottom lines that comes out of it is we're only at 25% of capacity, so we've got, it's not gonna be an issue for a long time, so. And we just have some sections of piping that need to be replaced, that's expensive, but the capital reserves, they're in decent shape. Not great, but decent. Now, the sewer department, right on hand is still hobbling along and just covering his expenses and not probably putting it up in the capital reserve, so we increase the capital reserve, and the thought was we should probably go 15% on the base rate and 15% on the gallonage rate, which would be 75 cents more per gallon.
we said $6. I have the notes.
I know, but that goes up.
Okay, so
I was just, we thought 15% would be reasonable, and
the base rate, but then,
I think 15% on
both, yeah?
on both.
okay.
I do think it's the right thing to do. I mean, otherwise you're going up.
50% on,
That's a big increase for everybody, including me. So,
so 15% on both then.
yeah, that's what I thought.
So 15% on the
So-
$5 per gallon too,
Yeah.
so it would bring it to $5.75, okay.
So that'll give us an overall increase in revenues of 15%. So
They're
Oh, wow.
overwhelming with all the quarters and stuff.
well, I round things off,
Well, they go to 6, it's 575.
Well, that, when you multiply it by hundreds of thousands, it's a lot.
All right,
We could go to 6, I guess, on the sewer, and that would give us a little more.
it's okay. Well, you have a huge deficit. You have
Yeah.
$700,000 deficit, I believe, sitting in there that you gotta pay back.
No, we paid back a little bit this year and a little bit, it's a lot.
Mhm.
So before you even get to where you're in an
So you-
unassigned
We
fund
could go to
balance.
So you're
6, I guess.
looking if you,
Per quarter,
yeah,
for what size family?
Average,
Say say 4 to 6,000,
what?
4 to 6,000 gallon for a
So-
family.
so that would be, so we'll go 5, right down the middle.
Yeah, I mean, like,
So 5,000 times 4 quarters is 20,000. Times, if you go up $1 per thousand, right?
$600,000 deficit, sorry.
So that would be $20 plus the $30, so it'd be a $50 increase annually for them. So $50 across 4 quarters would be $12.50.
All right,
So I
go to
think you can go
six.
to 6.
All right, go to 6. Yes, we can go on 6. But I think we're gonna have to, and I think each year we're gonna have to go up on both these to cover. The capital reserves that we're gonna need
Makes
to
sense.
replacement,
Sorry, I couldn't lock that.
because the sewer is, you know, what is that 60% probably capacity without all the new stuff coming in.
So you wanna go $5.25 for water?
I think that's enough, I do, we're in good shape there. We've got
And
a
then-
big surplus, we've got a big reserve, we're in good shape.
And then you're gonna do $5, 5% on the base rate.
On the base,
So you're gonna go up to $10.
Speaking of, I think you need to do a vote, go back to your water budget.
bottom line, the sewer budget, the sewer
Because-
fee should be more.
Yeah, because you gotta absorb a lot of debt.
Yeah.
Yep.
You need to revise your vote on the water, because on the capital reserve that's listed here, 100,000 was coming from unassigned fund balance, and then 120 was coming from the budget.
Right,
So just, I think you need to vote to have the warrant article to pull the 100,000 from the unassigned.
okay,
So I think we should make that.
Alright.
Vote,
so
if you're gonna do
I
it.
make a motion that we're gonna, as a town meeting, we're gonna pull 100,000 from the unassigned water fund balance and put it in the capital reserve.
I will second that. All those in favor? Aye.
And that way, because it looks like,
Yeah.
just,
Because it's Moore Street, then, you know, the initial thought was it's gonna be
oh,
125,000,
Yeah.
it's gonna be 225.
that to buy.
Alright, so you want these new rates to go in effect starting with Q1?
I would think
Or are
so.
you gonna do them, yeah, because your next billing will be
In June.
in January, but the funds collected will go into 2023, correct?
It's
Yes,
in theory.
in theory, but I think we should start at January 1.
So for the billing, the first billing of April.
It is revenue in 2024, but it is for,
Right.
you know, it
I know
all
what you're
works.
saying, yeah.
Yeah, alright, so the rates will take effect starting in January, first bill will be March. Of 2024.
Yeah, and my thought is we want to go up a little bit each year because we don't want to get behind like we were. And when we had to go up 100%, 200%.
Okay,
2 years ago.
alright. So, you have a motion? We need a motion of
Yeah, I make a motion that the sewer rates go up 15% for the base rate, up to $6 per thousand for the gallonage rate. And that the water rate goes up 5% for both, which would be 25 cents for the gallonage rate, and it would be 5% on the water rate.
Okay, I'll second that. All those in favor?
Well, I think the intent too on the water was that you guys have to start planning for that water line.
Oh, sure,
Yeah,
yeah,
in lower Woodstock.
Lower Woodstock,
Lower,
yeah.
and that's gonna be part of the plan coming your way, is that these bills do need to increase a certain percent.
right,
And I mean,
And the other old section is from where we're gonna fix Morris Street. Towards Deer Park, that's an old piece, it goes through that
right, so
river
that has to
also.
be replaced as well, so. I mean, next year we should probably look at getting, see what it's going to cost.
We still have the
we
plans
still have
on
the ad.
Lower Woodstock.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
see,
just have to
another great-
re-quote
Yeah,
it.
right,
And good luck, because it's just, everything is hurry up and wait right now.
I mean, we're gonna have to borrow some money for that. I mean, it's no
Thanks.
doubt about it, but,
are there other opportunities through the state besides Northern Borders or something like that? Cause I know we.
Some,
Okay.
yeah, we talked to them on a monthly. We have a monthly bonding meeting for grants with the Matt Durning there from the state, and Yes,
You mean our team of 9?
yes, exactly. They have more people. I mean, it's ridiculous. So anyway, they've been actually excellent. They have a meeting with us once a month. We've got 5 grants going. Each one from each department goes through where we are and what we need to do, and they've been very good. So,
I just like with that.
good.
Anyways,
I'm more into lead, so.
oh, that's just, and my goal, I'm hoping, I just really need to get through these because I wanna get a notice in all of the bills.
Yeah. I've been listening to the lead, I missed the last couple of lead seminars, so I've been listening to them like networking, so.
Exciting.
I think you guys should outline the tax rate
Yeah.
and explain.
I was just gonna do that.
Yeah, the increase in the breakdown because it's not town.
Yeah.
I just feel like,
So, so our new tax rate's been set. The town is coming in at $8.40. Which is down about 29 cents from 2023's tax rate.
2022.
2022, yeah, right, because we're in 23. County is coming in at $1.92, which is up about 14 cents. Local education is coming in at $7.17, which is up about 55 cents per thousand. And state education is $1.95, which is up 66
It's just
cents.
a big increase.
Right, for state education. So the new tax rate is coming in at $19.44, which is still down from the 20, we were close to 20 something just a
No.
few years ago.
It's up, oh,
A few
Yeah.
years ago,
for you,
But
but
we
you
are
guys
up.
have been dropping.
we have been dropping, so
year.
you know, the
So-
cost of things going up, inflation, everything else, we're up about $1.06.
And the town,
Overall,
the
town
the
is
town-
up,
The town
Right.
portion,
went down.
You guys have been dropping consistently.
Well, it's a little bit of growth, a little bit, you
Well, I
guys
think
be
it helps
careful.
too that we do run a pretty frugal and we have
We try to
tried
be
to give
conservative.
every department the mindset, like they budget but if they don't, we've now got them to a spot where they don't feel like they have to spend it all, you know what I mean? Or,
right,
you know, it's because what used to have, I mean, that started with, actually with Jim working with them, like, listen.
Yeah.
Prepare for it, but if you don't have to spend it, send it back.
right.
But what was happening before, they were cutting them down and they were getting so tight that they were just.
They'd have to go over something.
Right, because if the budget committee saw that they weren't spending it, they would reduce it and it was creating this whole.
Yeah.
Other side of,
Hmm.
so they do work very well and.
And in setting the rate, we kept a good reserve.
Right.
Very
Yes.
comfortable reserve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we're,
Within the window that we need to be.
oh yeah, we're on the good side of
Easy.
it, easily, yeah, so if anything ever happened. You guys are in a good spot for the town wise.
And, you know, the events have been going up too fast, too quickly.
Right.
So.
Great.
Or hopefully it doesn't go up, let's see.
I see you have a thought here about an events committee.
I sure do. Well, I've been trying to bring back this Woodstock Winterfest and as much as I love it, it's a lot for all of us because we're all so busy, and we're all short-staffed everywhere, or people involved are losing, you know what I mean? It's just
Right.
hard. So I've been following Thornton, and Thornton has what they call an events committee, of volunteers that organize their events and
That's a great idea.
and bring events to their community, and I've just been following it, watching the post, check out their page, Thornton's page.
I will.
So I didn't know if you guys would like to put out a notice or, hey, we're looking for volunteers for an events committee, and they even submit a budget to the town during the budget
I
cycle.
know when we had the downtown meeting, they were talking about trying to get more events, so I think you might get some interest from
And
some of the Main Street people.
I mean, still want to be involved, it's just so hard for us, because this is a busy time of year, and
Right.
it would be great to have, you know.
I mean, I saw some summer events too.
Just some
Yeah.
summer functions for, so I wanted to throw it out there because I've been watching
Let's do it.
their things and it seemed like a really good idea. And
So
they do some
say,
pretty cool things.
Call to action, anybody interested, email Judy at admin@woodstock.gov.
And she'll
We have a seat for you today.
She is president of the event. committee.
I just think that it might
Yeah.
be,
100%. Upstairs, email Judy and we'll put it out
I
on
just feel
Facebook.
like, yeah,
Folks to,
it's just a lot. We all like to say we can, and then here it is, and it's our busiest time, and we're like, oh my goodness,
it's hard to breathe.
right, so.
Yeah.
And then I think that the community can make things what they want too, you know, they have
Yeah,
input. in what
have
they
some
want.
input.
Yeah.
Sure. I
So
think it's good.
that's what I,
All right. Thank you. So then we have public participation on any of the agenda items this evening.
Listening to planning, thinking ahead, anticipation. And living out on Lost River Road. It's a dangerous. It's not getting any easier to drive that road. And thinking ahead to Peeling Village, if that comes in, and if it is more family, affordable housing, and workforce housing, that I've mentioned it before, just that stretch between School Street and down.
Yeah.
Thinking of youngsters.
Oh, I have
Think
to.
We've talked with Nick.
My cringes every time I bring up the sidewalk.
We've
work.
talked to Nick at North Country Council about contacting and what type of grants are available for us for sidewalk.
Did
We
he-
started
gonna
that
let
conversation.
them get developed
Right.
and work to start approaching the state and the grant.
And,
stuff.
and there's a lot of,
Yes.
there's talk of even more development on West River Road.
Say that again.
Right now, there's talk of more development on West River
Yes.
Road. Right now, it's just chatter,
It's just chatter right now.
but I think you're gonna see more and more out there, those big parcels are gonna be built up and developed, so.
We'll see.
But
This one in the proximity to town
Mhm.
and
it is all families,
yes.
and the campground, and the ice castle,
And town
and
building here, the
the town
library.
building and the library, it makes sense to connect it.
Yeah.
You know, so
No, we have started looking at that.
we'll get a special
Thank
plow.
you for the reminder.
Well, not only that, it's just that.
And an operator.
traffic count isn't going down.
No. And no,
No.
but
No, it surprised me, just hear the scuttlebutt about, land on Route 3 they're looking at, there was a lot of.
There's a lot coming.
A lot of interest, but I haven't seen anything concrete at all,
anything else?
My favorite motion,
Well, we actually have a non-public session to go into under RSA 91-A:3. Numeral 2A. It's a mouthful every time. So we will not come back into public session after that, so. Thank you all for your time today, this evening. We won't see you guys again, so happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Thanksgiving.
Enjoy your holiday.